Okay, it's recording.
Start over? Okay. Good morning, everyone, or good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you are in the world. I am Ramona Smith, and I was on the Trace Diaz weekend number 23. I believe it was 23 back in 2014. I want to share my fourth day experience with you all in hopes that it will inspire you and encourage you and motivate you to continue living your life according to God's plan and the purpose and passion that God has placed over your life. When I went to Trace Diaz, I believe it was April, and I had just gotten married. So I was a newlywed, and I was going to have to leave my husband and my son for 3 whole entire days, and it's sequestered, I believe that's the word. So we didn't have our electronics, and I really didn't know how it was going to go, but I trusted God, and I knew that anything my parents touch is godly and is heavenly, and I'm going to get something out of it. And so I just trusted the whole entire process. And I went, and it was phenomenal. The fellowship and the love and the nurturing, and it was very much meditative. I really got a lot out of the silence and the quiet, and I'm not going to go too much more into it because you shouldn't anticipate, you should just participate. But after that, I just got more clarity. I got more clarity about my purpose. I got more clarity about what I wanted to do with my life. And I got the confirmation that I needed to be able to walk on the journey and on the path that God has prepared for my life. So my fourth day has been all about making sure I'm pursuing my passions and I'm pursuing my purpose and staying on that path that I know I'm supposed to be on. Because the closer you get to God and the closer you get to the deepest parts of you, that's the innermost parts of you, I believe, is God speaking to you. So when you retreat and you go within yourself and you go into that silent space where there are no distractions and you're not worried and you're not full of anxiety and you can just be in that peaceful moment, that's when you can hear God the most. I believe some people may refer to it as you're going into your prayer closet, but in that darkness and in that silence, that place right there is when you'll be able to hear and feel God the most. So my fourth day journey has been trying to be in that place more in order to hear from God and in order to be sure that it's God and that it's not me. And I've been doing that for the past 4 years, and it's been paying off. It's been paying off. Since going to Trace Diaz, I've graduated college twice. I've moved to Houston, Texas. I've become a teacher, a high school teacher. So I'm able to do what I love, which is speak every single day. I have 198 kids who depend on me to be there for them and to give them inspiration and motivation. And I also recently won the World Championship of Public Speaking. That's a dream come true, because that's ultimately what I want to do for the rest of my life. Is I want to speak and I want to inspire. So staying on the path in spite of myself, or in spite of my fears, or in spite of everything that's going on in the world and all the things that I've been through, which I'll go into a little bit more to give you a more clear understanding of my faith, I was able to reach all of my goals and all of my accomplishments because of those 3 days that I dedicated to myself and God. And so now I'm basically living my dreams, and I don't think I would have been able to do that had I not taken just 3 days out of my life to focus and to have those moments in peace and in my faith and in fellowship. Going back to 2014, yes, that was a great year, but it was a not so great year. You ever heard of that phrase? It was the best of times, it was the worst of times. 2014, I just got married in that April, and my son was 2, and my life was transforming, and I was about to graduate from college with my first degree, and things were great. And then you fast forward to August, and my 2-year-old son is diagnosed with brain cancer. And that will test your faith. That will test your patience. That will test your marriage. That will test your whole entire being, because I'm a Christian and I'm faithful and I've just got married and I'm trying to do the right thing. Why is my son diagnosed with brain cancer? I was the perfect mom. I did everything right. I don't get it. I don't understand. Shortly after he had 3 brain surgeries and 30 radiation treatments, I'm in the process of getting a divorce. So not only am I helping my son battle cancer, but now I'm in the process of this divorce to this man that I thought I was going to be with for the rest of my life. Fast forward to a couple of months after that, then my dad passes away. So I'm divorced, and I'm trying to help my son heal, and all of a sudden I have to bury my father. So that is just one thing after another, and it will just really have you ask and question God and say, God, why? Why is this happening to me? I'm trying to get my life together. I'm going back to school. I'm married. I'm trying to do everything right. Why is my life falling apart? I didn't understand it. But his ways are much bigger than our ways. And I can't see my whole life mapped out before me. And so when I was going through those things, I didn't understand. But thankfully, I had my parents, Mike and Tanya Pickett, there to encourage me. And they built that foundation of Christianity and that foundation of faith. And they had made all these spiritual deposits into my life for years, since I was maybe how old my son is now. He's 6 now. And so when I was going through all of those trials and those tests and those tribulations, all those spiritual deposits that Mike and Tanya had instilled in me, it was a great investment. And then when it was time for me to withdraw, I had a lot to withdraw from. So thankfully, they had deposited so much and so much and so much. And going to church as a kid, you don't really realize, I'm at church, oh, we got to go to Bible study on Wednesday. We got to go to Sunday school, then we got to go to church, choir rehearsal. When you're young, you don't understand it. But it's just those spiritual deposits, and they keep adding up, because one day you're going to have to withdraw. And I didn't know that I was going to have to make so many withdrawals in such a short amount of time. But thankfully, they made those spiritual deposits into me, and I was able to withdraw when I needed them. So going back to my time at Trace Diaz, it was more deposits. It was even more deposits, more spiritual deposits, and just love and compassion and empathy and sympathy. And it was a time where I didn't really know I needed it, because at that point my life was great. It was stupendous. It was wonderful. It was excellent. But then those deposits, on top of the deposits that Mike and Tanya Pickett gave to me, I needed it all. Because I withdrew so much on those nights when I was watching my son on a hospital bed, or all those nights when I was crying myself to sleep because of losing this man that I thought that was going to be in my life forever. And all those nights that I cried grieving over my father that I lost, my actual birth father. And you just never know what you need until you need it. And so I'm just so glad that I had that experience to be able to draw upon the good times and to draw upon the love that I felt. It helped me get through the hard times that are inevitable. Hard times are going to come. They may not be as harsh or as devastating or as heartbreaking as divorce and brain cancer and losing a parent, but you're going to experience some hard times. So I encourage you to continue to make those spiritual deposits, or allow people to pour into you, allow people to love on you, allow people to nurture you, allow people to give you that compassion, even if you feel like you don't need it. Even if you feel like you don't need a hug that day, or even if you feel like you don't need somebody to send you a text message every morning of a Bible verse like Sister Stephanie Tyus does for me. Even if you feel like you don't need it, one day you will. One day you will. One day you may be sad or down, or you may lose your job, or you may not be able to meet all your financial needs, but then you can go to your phone and go to those tens of hundreds maybe of those encouraging text messages that someone like Sister Stephanie Tyus sends to you every single morning, and you can look at them. You can be encouraged, and you can look at them when you're crying and understand that somebody somewhere is praying for you. Somebody somewhere is thinking about you. Somebody somewhere loves you. And in that moment, you can rest assured that you're going to be okay, and you're going to make it through the storm. So I said all that to say that I have a lot of different life experiences. I have a lot of different things that have happened to me in my life. But my fourth day has just really been trying to stay on the path. No matter what happened in my life, no matter all the crazy things that happened, I always knew the end goal is God's purpose over my life, which is for me to be a speaker, for me to speak life into other people, for me to inspire other people. So in spite of the trials and the challenges and the difficulties that I faced, my eyes are always on the prize. When my son was in the hospital, I was speaking. Mike and Tanya were in the hospital waiting with my son until I got back from speaking events, because that's God's plan and God's purpose for me. And I was focused on what was placed over my heart and over my spirit. And nothing is going to deter me, nothing that's in my control is going to deter me from walking this path and from walking in my purpose, because I know it's God-given. I know it's God-given. My fourth day has been amazing. It's been ups, it's been downs. I'm not saying after you leave Trace Diaz, you're going to hit the lottery and it's just going to be rainbows and sunshine every day. No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is go deep within yourself constantly and make sure you are hearing from God so that you know exactly what you're supposed to do. So that when those trials and tribulations do come, you'll have it. You'll have it here, and you'll know for sure that I'm supposed to do this or I'm supposed to do that. And even though I know this, and this is happening, I can keep that tunnel vision. I can keep that tunnel vision because I know what God has for me in my life. And I really just strongly encourage you to find that. Find whatever it is that you're passionate about, that you love doing, that you would do for free, that you just wake up thinking about, whether it's working with children, whether it's baking, whether it's cooking, whether it's traveling all around the world and blogging. I don't know what your passion or your purpose is, but I strongly encourage you as you go into your fourth day to continue pursuing that passion and that purpose. Because when the storms come, I don't want you to get knocked off balance. And I heard somebody say years ago that you don't want to leave this planet with your music still inside of you. And I don't want you to leave this planet with this beautiful music inside of you that you haven't let out to the world. So I encourage you on your fourth day to find your music and to sing and let it out. Not literally sing, because some of y'all probably can't sing that well. That's not your gift. But I want to encourage you to let that music out somehow, some way, whatever it is. If it's writing, if it's healthcare, well, whatever it is, I need you to let that out. So that is my encouragement to you all today, to let your music come out. Speak, write, draw, paint, heal, serve, whatever that is. Don't let this experience after Trace Diaz, just don't let it fall by the wayside. Don't let it become a memory. Let it be something let it be a seed. Let it be a seed that's planted. And it's up to you to continue to water that seed. And I encourage you to stay in contact with the other people who are on your weekend. And I encourage you to make sure you are staying involved in the Trace Diaz community. And I encourage you to remain active and engaged and inspire other people. Inspire other people. And share your experience, but don't share too much because we don't want to share too much. But I'm excited for you, and I'm happy for you, and I'm praying for you, and I just want you to continue on the path that you know is right for you and that you know in your spirit God has for your life. 3 words to sum up my fourth day: passionate, purposeful, prayerful. I'm wishing you all the best. I love you so much. I love my godparents, Mike and Tanya Pickett, and all the best. De colores.